Hello. Okay. So, welcome to Lighting and Sound Basics. So, pull up your Google Slides presentation. I would rather done this on Screencastify, but I'm working with a MacBook, and MacBooks don't like you using Screencastify because it's a Google product. Okay, so lighting and sound basics. What is lighting first? We already have some basis of knowledge with this, but I wanted to itemize everything out to make sure that we're all on the same page. So lighting refers to how a stage is lit during a production. It is abbreviated by LX in a script or when you do design. Lighting effects. Many types of lighting can be used to convey mood, highlight a particular character or item, or add setting. So the light can give you where you are and what's going on. So for example, like when you were preparing for this as a play, if you wanted something to look like it was outside during the sunset, you want to make it look like there's a sunset happening, right? So you can do that with color of lights. You can do that with where your lights are coming from, or different shapes with lights. Lighting is a beautiful thing to be able to convey so much. So I have a few general lighting terms here. This is not all lighting terms, but things that you should know. First is a wash. A wash covers the whole stage in light or a section of the stage. This we already know. You can have a spotlight for a small section of the stage to highlight maybe one character or two. The next one is gobo. A gobo is a metal frame that's placed over a lighting lamp, and it has a shape cut out of it. And it's used to create a shape in the light and shadow. So it could end up being like the frame of a window. So you could have a window cast on, say, the back of the stage. Or tree branches and leaves to make it look like you're in a forest, instead of actually having to have physical trees on the stage. A special refers to different cue other than a wash. So a wash is something that's general and it's used for most lighting cues. But whenever you have something that is special, you use a special. So a special could be a spotlight, could be a gobo, could be maybe you change from a wash to something fancy like a backlight, which we'll get to that in a bit. Temperature of light. It refers to whether light has a warm look or a cool look. So a warm look means like yellow or orange is used when you want, say, something like sunlight or sunset. Could be for a happy mood, something that is warm physically and also warm emotionally. A cool light is the opposite. A cool light could be used for nighttime, for when it's like dark or stormy outside, or for a cool emotion. So something that is kind of dark or brooding. Blackout, lights go out. And then a state, or referred to a lighting state. A lighting state is a type of lighting setup. It includes setting, mood, and the type of lighting you want. So for example, you're working on a show and your show has two lighting states. The first lighting state is a kitchen during the day. So you use a warm wash over the whole stage to convey your kitchen full of light, daytime. Then your second state is a creepy park at night. So you use cool lighting. And you could use, instead of a wash, you could do side lights, which I'll get to that in a bit. Side lights create a lot of shadows across people's faces and parts of their body and parts of the set. All right. So this brings me to locations of light, because I mentioned it twice already. So there's front lit. Front lit are lights that are hung facing the stage, and it illuminates the front of the actors. So if I'm on a stage right now, I'm going to have to adjust my camera because it started to slip. There we go. If I'm on stage right now, the lights are coming at me like this, and it illuminates the front of my body. Backlit is the opposite. Lights are hung facing the audience on the back of the stage, so behind the actors, casting a shadow around the actors or around the set pieces that create a silhouette. You could also have side lighting, or something referred to as side lit. Lights are hung on the sides of the stage in the wings, and they create long shadows. So you think if it's side lighting, I'm being lit this way and this way. So there's some shadows across my face or across my body or across the stage next to me. Side lighting is often used to create mystery. Then there's overhead light. Overhead light. Lights hung over the stage. It illuminates the top of actors, their faces, down to probably about the chest. So when we create a wash uses everything so that everything's illuminated, we don't have shadows. If you want shadows in a particular place, then that's when you use the different types of lighting. You could also have something that is mostly backlit, but you have a little bit of front light so that you don't have shadows on the actors' faces. You could combine side lighting with backlighting to create a lot of mysterious shadow. You could combine front lighting with overhead so that the actors are really, really lit, but maybe there's things in the background that are in shadow to create emphasis on particular actors. Okay? So all of these things add to the way you want your stage to look. So 2 things of note that didn't really fall under those categories are, remember that lights can be any color you want. So yes, we have 2 temperatures of lights that are pretty basic, but other than that, you can have any types of color, which we refer to that as gels, right? So gels are it almost looks like really, really thick cellophane. And they're all different colors that goes in front of a lamp, and it creates a particular light color. So if you want to display something really, say, angry, passionate, but you don't want the actor to be really, really lit, you could have a red gel in a backlight. That red illuminates around the actor, but not on their face. Throw in a little splash of a cool front light, so you see the actor, but then all this red behind them creates that look of like passion, anger, and the like. You hearing in the background, Isaac's around, he's playing, or there's things working from home. Also, think of moods and setting in relation to your colors to display what you want. So like I just mentioned with having, if you had a piece that was like really angry or brooding or passionate, right? What kind of color conveys that? What kind of mood do you want to create, and how can you create that with your lighting and your color? Okay, so also, what is sound? We know what it is, but again, I'm going through different particulars. So sound can also dictate setting or mood. Sound refers to single effects, music, and soundscapes, and it is abbreviated by SFX in a script or design. Some basic sound terms. You have pre-show tracks. Soundscape or music used as an audience is waiting for a show to begin. It helps set up the mood for the performance. Helps set up the setting for the performance so the audience knows what's going on. A soundscape is effects that are not music, usually used to convey a setting, not a single sound effect, so it's something that continues, it's something long. A sound effect is a single sound with an end. So a phone ringing, thunderclap, a doorbell, something that is short and has a beginning and an end. A curtain call is music or a soundscape used at the end of a play when the actors take their bow. So I have some terms for both sound and lighting. Down. Down refers to when the lights become more dim or fade out, or when a sound becomes quieter. So you could bring the lights down, bring the sound down. That's what it means. Up is the opposite. Lights get brighter or sound gets louder. So you want lights up, sound up, means brighter and louder. A crossfade. A crossfade is a change one type of lighting with another, or change one sound with another. So, for example, you have that kitchen, creepy park. You want to go from the kitchen to the creepy park. You have a warm wash, crossfade, cool side light. That would be the cue to show that you're changing from the kitchen to the park. And then we have levels. setting lights and sound effects during a technical rehearsal. So when you're in a technical rehearsal, you can set your levels. Setting your levels means you're going to set up your lighting and how you want them to fade in and fade out. And setting up your sound, how loud you want it to be, how quiet you want it to be, what speakers you want it to come from. Because you can actually change that too. So if you had a thunder and you wanted the thunder to roll, because you know how the way that thunder is quiet and then you hear it and then it goes away. You could do that with sound. Because you could have speakers set up. Whoops! A little plastic farmer just rolled itself across the computer, off the table and onto the floor. You going to say hi, Isaac, considering they know that you're here?
Hi.
Hi. Okay. So, sound levels. Oh, yes. Speakers. So you could have speakers set up in the back of the stage. They could be behind the audience. They could be in front of the audience. And the sound can travel. You could do that if you want. And then there's also a snap. A snap is a quick cue. Happens really fast. So you could have a snap blackout. Or a snap
The top of the bar is
thunderclap. Means it happens fast. You could also have things happen really slowly. Like over 3 seconds or 5 seconds. But a snap means it happens right away. Alright. So now the final thing I have here is the steps for writing cues in script. So this is what you're going to need for doing your lighting and sound design for your performance. If we have to do this assessment. We're still not yet. Oh, I slipped again. Alright, step 1. Highlight in the script where you want the cue to be or where the playwright wants it. So if the playwright has it written in, then you highlight that. If you're creating it yourself, you highlight in the script where you want it to happen. Step 2. You label it with the type of the number. So here there's a stage direction and it says Joe enters stage left. When Joe enters stage left, you want there to be a door slam. So you highlight in the script where it says Joe enters stage left. You label that SFX1.
Open. Oh.
And then you do step 3. Okay? So step 3, write its description on the back of the previous page of the script. So you think if I'm going through my script, here's my script here on the right hand side. And then, Isaac, please don't knock it down, please. Okay. Yeah, now I'm back. Okay. So I have the script on the right hand side. I have blank backs of the page on the left. I have it highlighted on the right hand side where the script is. And I have it labeled SFX. Over on the back of the previous page, where it is blank, I write its description. So, for example, SFX2, birds chirping. LX3, crossfade warm wash. So you know where the cue is happening in the script, but then also what is happening. And then step 4, fill in the cue sheet. So I'm going to supply you with a cue sheet. I'm going to show you, there'll be an example up top of what it will look like written out in the cue sheet, and then you're going to fill it in. Okay, so that's it right now for lighting and sound. The next thing I'm going to share with you is then how do you prepare using Uta Hagen's method. See ya!